Well, the engine died on me, and I was in 60 feet of water, so I couldn't anchor, so I had to pull up the sail. I'm going at like a knot right now, sailing towards the marina. When I get near the marina, I'll try to start the motor again. We'll see. 3 cheese tortellini. Now these are dried, so you don't have to keep them in the refrigerator or anything. They're just in a box. And then canned corn, fresh zucchini, fresh sweet potato, pasta, and it's 4 cheese pasta sauce. Then I got some grated Parmesan I'm gonna throw on there, and some Frank's hot red sauce, organic sparkling water. And I'm gonna watch a movie. I think we're gonna watch Fifth Element. But the loons are going crazy out there tonight. So alright, so that's my healthy spaghetti. No meat involved. Lots of cheese though. I've been here for 3 nights. And this will be my 4th day. It is a just gorgeous anchor. You can unless it's coming from the southeast, you can pretty much hide from the wind in here. It's at mile marker 14 on the starboard side of the boat as you hit mile marker 14. Gorgeous bay. Depending on where the wind's going, you can avoid the wind on the beaches, because there's a beach on every side of this bay. So if you just want to go sit on the beach for a day, you can avoid the wind that way too, or be in the wind if you want. Loons, bald eagles. Loons are amazing here. There's 6 or 7 full-size loons that talk to each other all day. They're gorgeous. They're as big as they get and happy as they get. The bald eagles is a pair of them, a mated pair that just take over the cove all day. They don't hunt here though. It seems like I don't really see them diving for fish here, but they fly over constantly, and they live over there actually they're just hovering above their nest right now, both of them. I am going to go to Bay Springs Marina. Alright, that was our last little beach visit in this cove. So I'm gonna make some coffee and pull the anchor and head out onto this beautiful lake. Bay Springs Lake is 6,700 acres, 72 feet deep at the deepest. And the Army Corps of Engineers acquired all of the land around the lake, so there are no private homes. The entire beach around the entire lake is access points for you to go to. When it's low water like this, you can actually walk around the whole lake on the beach. It's pretty interesting and pretty beautiful. Yesterday I checked the strainer. I'm trying to kind of figure out why the motor's sputtering every once in a while, and it's always happening when it's sucking in water and flowing out water. Keeps dying on me. Keeps wanting to die. Seems like every time it's sucking in water to cool itself, it almost dies, and then when it goes to blow it out, it almost dies. which is why I thought it was a strainer. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the impeller. Maybe something's jammed up with the impeller and it's just creating friction. I don't know. It wants to die. I don't understand what's going on. It keeps dying on me. I pulled in. I was gonna anchor over here, but then I I brought it down to idle, and it just started idling fine. So I thought, now it's not even idling fine. Well, the engine died on me, and I was in 60 feet of water, so I couldn't anchor. So I had to pull up the sail. I'm going at like a knot right now, sailing towards the marina. When I get near the marina, I'll try to start the motor again. We'll see. We shall see. It's frustrating. At this point, the motor just continuously died. It got to the point where I was getting close to shore. I had to pull up the sail. Sailed in, got close to here, and I had run the generator for so long that it recharged the batteries, and I was able to start the motor. The motor actually ran kind of good right into the dock here. So this is the midday update on maintenance on the boat. First day with the mechanic. That's where we're at. We did a full oil change, new oil filter. I wasn't comfortable with my oil change because I was still seeing dirty oil, and I don't think I was able to suck out enough oil. So he has an actual machine that sits on the top and sucks out all the oil. Then he found the impeller was broken, which happens regularly on boats, and he showed me the best way to check it and when I should check it. I was still passing water. I wasn't overheating, but that could definitely have caused the motor to sputter because something's caught up in the spinning of it. The batteries dying was because the alternator belt was loose. So we tightened that up, showed me how to tighten it up, and that one I feel like I should have gotten myself. Yeah, I kind of just didn't care about the alternator because I always ran a generator and would charge the batteries a couple hours every day, but long haul driving, you need the alternator to be charging the battery while you're driving. So got that fixed. Right now we're waiting for parts. I'm ordering a second starter, spark plugs, spark plug cable, cap, rotor, and I'm gonna try to talk Greg into doing my timing just to make sure the engine's perfect. And tomorrow we'll put the new impeller in. I'm ordering 2 of those, so I have one on board. I have a spare on board that's the right one, but because it's been on board for the whole time I've owned the boat, it's more than 5 years old, so you don't want to put that in there. But you don't want to throw it away because you may need it in an emergency. You might burn through too. So I'm going to keep it. And let's see. We checked the battery just to make sure that the engine battery was not bad from running it down. I think that's where we're at. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to have them put my dinghy on a trailer it out, and then it's a brand new Honda motor. It's never had its first oil change. So I'm going to do the oil and gear lube and filter. And we should be good. All right, so now at this point, Greg is looking for all the pieces to this. Ah, man. Okay. And you just put it all back together like a puzzle until you find all the pieces.
Correct.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, there's that.
1, 2, 3. So there's one more missing.
There's a piece off right there.
Oh,
missing.
Half a piece.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And see, that's usually the ones that get through all the way to the heat exchanger.
There's a lot of little stuff wrong with my boat. Basically, this is what I want to tell you guys. If you get a motor rebuild, meaning they take the entire motor out of the boat and they put it back in, you need to go around after 10, 20, 40 hours and tighten every darn thing in the dang motor. Basically, I just, the mechanic Alex told me, hey, if you go in there, make sure everything's tight, like go through and tighten some bolts. But he didn't really say to me, at 10 hours, you have to go tighten everything in the damn motor. And then at 30 hours, go tighten it again. And eventually you'll set it where things will lock in place for the vibrations that are happening on the boat. You go boy. This is a super weird beach. It's sandstone. See how I can't dig in? It's not sand. It looks like it's sand, but there's about maybe a half an inch of sandy, muddy stuff. Actually, look how the footprints are. And then the rest is slippery stone underneath. So you really got to watch what you're doing out here if you don't have 4 paws. Or you'll slip and slide into the water. But the sun's about to go down. It's going to be gorgeous right in the background. My boat is on the other side of that dock. So it's going to have a good spot watching the sun go down. Oh, it's beautiful. So this is Bay Springs. It's the only marina I see on Bay Springs Lake. He's finally tired. This is the first time he didn't bring the ball right back. I wasn't planning on making every marina I go to. I wasn't planning on videoing every marina in any way. In fact, I was probably going to avoid the marinas because it's better just to take pictures of islands and beaches and stuff. But every time I go to one of these marinas and I see the big dock, you know, where the big boats hang out, I'm always, I like looking at them. I will never own something like this, and it would be hard to justify in my life anything as extravagant as these, but it's still extremely cool to look at. Really, I mean, look at the deck on that one. Look at this deck. And it's a covered deck, like, you know, yeah, 90% of it's covered with ceiling fans. So if you want to be around houseboats, Kentucky and Tennessee and the Kentucky River, right down into Mississippi and Alabama is the Central. A lot of people don't think that. They think Seattle, they think other countries, you know, but in reality there are more houseboats here than anywhere else in the world. It's a huge concentration of just big, huge boats. There's a jet ski. That one's got a commercial air conditioner on it, right there. 3 stories. This one's 3 stories. 2 full floors and then a top half deck. Now I could see retiring when I get old in one of those. Just a small little houseboat like that. That one's 15 feet, 16 feet wide, and at least, let me see the side of it, 41, 40. It's a nice little boat. I am almost convinced this is the boat from, I mean, what's the chances of the same boat with the same name? No, it's not. It's from Minnesota. There's a boat named Secret on my dock. It wasn't set up to do the loop, but it was the same exact boat, and it was for sale, so it made me a little... They have built a stand like I did for their mast. And because they came from Minnesota, they had to go through the Illinois waterway, which means they had to go through a 19-foot bridge, which is why they did this. It is set with solar. They definitely have a inflatable dinghy and a hard dinghy. You know, they've done maybe, what is it, a third of the loop in it, so it's capable. Problem is someone in their family passed away, and they're done. They're not going to keep it. They're going to put it up for sale. They're asking $5,000. Currently, it is not cleaned up, and you don't really get a good look of the boat, but he's going to come clean it up today. I'll probably do a short on it, just for people to know. Getting this boat for $5,000, if everything's working on it, is a steal. I don't even want to tell you how much of a steal. You could buy this boat, take it to the right place, and sell it for $18,000. Yeah, so, but I'm not going to mention any prices to the guy. At this point, they're just trying to... They're doing what everybody does. They get in this situation where they're not using something and they're paying every month to keep it here, and it just doesn't make sense. You know, if you're not going to use the boat, it's really hard to justify having it. These wooden booms and the wooden shrouds are just beautiful on these boats. When you clean it up, Hey! Where are you even going? Oh, he's barking at fishermen. So I guess he's just kind of a bossy dog, basically. He's just always noisy and yelling at people. These are interesting. I don't know. Yeah, look at that. That's weird. So you could almost grab anything to use as a crank. That's an interesting way to do it. It also looks like it seals the winch better than mine. Although my Australian winches are beautiful. I wouldn't mess with them at all. This is just a great boat. I mean, if this boat was cleaned up, it would be shocking. Everybody went to bed pretty early on the dock tonight because they're all heading out tomorrow to hit the locks. So they're trying to wake up pretty early and call the locks ahead of time. Pretty quiet night. And here goes everyone off to hit the dam, the lock. They called and the lock said, we'll send you through right away. And everyone's heading out. They're gonna cruise through to the first 4 locks together. Bruce and Michelle in the boat that was next to me are going to just go 3 locks. And then they're all gonna text me when they see their first alligator. So I know, or I don't know if they're crocodiles or alligators. The first gator. So I know when to put River on a leash. And I will catch up with them in Florida in the intercoastal because they're going to hang out for a while once they get down there. So just like that, there's no one at this marina now. It's very quiet. This is how I'm used to having marinas because I'm on the off cycle where I'm basically going to marinas when it's winter here and stuff. So I'm pretty used to them not having anyone here. And my dog and cat being able to just run the dock. Yeah, it's a... However, you know, if someone comes up to me and asks you, are you like a social person? Do you like to hang out with people? My immediate response is no. I'd rather be in the woods all alone. But what's strange is when I come to a situation where I'm forced to be social, like right now my boat doesn't work. I can't go anywhere. I need to wait for parts. This is the way it's going to be. I had fun last night hanging out with all these people. Bruce and Michelle are very interesting. Everything that we talk about it intrigues me, you know, and it's really rare. I gotta tell you, it's rare that I run into people that are interesting, you know. Most of the time, the lifestyle I live is the interesting one. But when you're running into people who have been doing this stuff for years, they got stories that are way better than anything I can come up with, and it's awesome. There was a couple, Scott and Michelle, with that big Great Dane that came here, and they're finishing the loop. So they've gone all the way up the side of the East Coast, all the way up through the Great Lakes. They started in Florida, and they're going all the way around. Now they're 400 miles back from being at the Gulf. So they got 400 miles to be done. And this was the first time that I actually had a conversation with someone about selling my car. They sold their car, and then they had to buy another car because they took 6 months off. And it's like to think about that process of not having any vehicle. You know, it's weird to have that conversation, but me and 6 other people had that conversation yesterday, and it was cool to have it. Who else? None of my friends will ever have that conversation because none of them are ever going to be in a situation where they don't need a car. So it's a weird. Yeah, I mean, essentially we started talking about how they were backtracking and flying to go get their car to catch up with their boat sometimes, and one has a truck and a trailer for their boat, so they'd fly back or rent a car and drive back with their dog and then come and catch up with their boat with their truck and trailer. And everything, you know, it starts to be where you are thinking, why have a car? You know, I'm going to use a car once every 20 days. Why do I need one? I'll borrow it or I'll rent it. So it's a weird, not a conversation I never thought I was going to have. It's funny, the first time I saw plants growing out of a dock, I kind of mentioned it to the mechanic that was putting my mast on up in Green Turtle Bay, and the mechanic guy goes, I don't think that bird liked you, Cricket. And the guy said, oh, I don't trust a dock that doesn't have plants growing on it. It hasn't been here long enough. That's funny. So right now we're using the courtesy vehicle, little Mazda, to run. I don't wear my seatbelt. One of the best things about my Toyota truck is it will beep one time to be like, hey, put your seatbelt on. And then if you don't put it on, the truck's like, okay, man, I warned you. And it goes away. The beep doesn't come back. So anyways, we're going to run to the Napa, and I'm going to get a bunch of parts. I'm only getting one part that we're going to use. The rest is just me getting all new sets of everything to have on the boat. So I can start doing this kind of stuff on Anchor. Auto parts store, and I ordered the wrong part. So they're going to order another one, and it's going to come in the next couple of days. And if I'm still here, I'll pick it up. If I'm not still here, they're going to mail it to my next marina that I go to at Midway. Okay, I want to try to explain this the best way I can. I'm from the Midwest, so I know a lot of people that are really kind-hearted, really nice people. As I'm heading south, I'm blown away by the amount of trust and how nice people are here. I met Jamie, a few months ago, and when he saw my video of me not having gloves, he drove an hour and a half to get me a hat and gloves. He just didn't like seeing me without gloves. This guy, Phil, at the store here, he gave me, so I have spark plugs, I have those tools to replace the starter if I need to. And I'm sitting here with maybe $40 worth of stuff, and I ordered another probably $60 or $100 worth of stuff that's going to come in tomorrow or a few days from now. And I said, well, what do I owe you? And he said, well, you're in the South. You don't owe me anything. You can come back when I get the parts, and I'll save the price tags for these, and you can pay when everything comes in. And then if you're not, if everything doesn't come in or what have you, we'll just do it over the phone when I mail it. And then if you're really going to go to this marina, there's a really nice restaurant there. I might come down for dinner and just drop it off for you. And then we talked about, he used to rabbit hunt in the bay that I was like anchored in when there was no water here. And when he was a kid, 16 through 19, first year he pulverized the rocks. Didn't know what he was doing it for. Second year he made cement. Didn't know what he was doing it for. Third year they used all that material to build the dam, and he was part of building the dam. Fourth year he had no job because it was done. And then they flooded his dam. It's insane, the stories that they have here. And every one of those bays and everything, he would tell me how the land was under the water, because that's where he would hike and trail and take his boat to. It's really funny. Really. Since I was in town, I would get some barbecue to go, and I went to Kohl's. Oh my gosh, this smells good. I don't know that I'm gonna make it all the way back to my boat without eating some of this. Part of borrowing a free car from the marina is filling it up. And in case you don't want to pull up to the pump on the wrong side, every fuel has a little arrow telling you which side the gas tank is on if you don't know the car. This is where we're at right now. Okay, I went to the parts store and I got half of the parts. Okay. And the tools to deal with everything that happens on the boat. That happened on the boat so far. You know, if I had these parts and I had these tools, I'd be able to fix everything that's happened so far. That's my plan, is to try to go along with that. Nothing's going to be perfect. I'm going to get stuck in some places, but at the end of the day here, the parts won't be in until Monday or Tuesday. My impeller and the rotor won't be here till Monday or Tuesday. And it is now Friday, which means I'm here for the weekend. I've been in this situation before, and what I did was I went and just anchored out, and I came back 5 days later and I didn't pay for staying. I don't have the ability to do that here. My motor is at a position where all the parts are out of it and I can't start it at all or do anything. So I'm actually stuck here. And it will be Wednesday night, Thursday night. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be a full week. So I'll try to get them to give me a day off for staying here. And then the next video, what we'll do is basically we're going through 4 locks in one day. And I'll try to document that. I'll try to document the different locks. There is not much room before them. So there, you drive a little bit, you drop down another 60 feet or 90 feet or 30 feet or whatever it is for that given lock. And there's no dam. No working dam or hydro dam or anything. So it's just like a square box at the edge of the lake. You drive into the square box and it drops you down to the river on the other side of it. It's kind of interesting. I'll show you a picture of it. The other thing is I pulled out my pressure washer that I keep in my lazarette. Fancy word for storage underneath your butt in the cockpit. And I'm going to pressure wash the boat. The sand, I mean, I kind of have thought to myself, I'm just going to live with sand, and that's the way it is. I'm not going to clean it up too much other than once a week, go through and vacuum. But man, it's annoying. And Scott, one of the guys that stayed here last night, he mentioned the way he deals with it is he only goes to public launches with his dog, so he puts the dog on the dock. It's never jumping from the beach to the boat, and so the sand gets lost between moving to the beach to the dock. And that's another thing I could think about, but that's not going to happen in the Bahamas. I'm going to be going to the beach anyway, so. Essentially, I'm going to be pressure washing my boat every once in a while because the sand actually colors the hull. And you don't want to have it sit on there too long, or you get this orange color on the hull of your white boat. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to clean everything up. I got supplies I'm going to put away. But if I'm going to be here for a week, I'm going to have to go get more supplies because I'm going to use some of that stuff on the way. So we'll see. It's interesting. If it's not one thing or it's another, and you know, no matter how much you don't plan or you plan, you end up having to do something different. So it's kind of just roll with it. Roll with the punches.